Anthony Richardson's future in the NFL right now is obviously dwindling. And my question to you, and then we can talk about Anthony Richardson's situation, is why does Chris Ballard have a job? Since he's been taking the job in 2017 with the Colts, his quarterbacks have been Andrew Luck, Scott Tolzien, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ellinger, Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, and now officially Daniel Jones. What an awful list of quarterbacks, because this isn't, not talking about them for people that might have forgot. This was end of career Phillip Rivers. This was washed Carson Wentz. This was end of career Matt Ryan. This was 44-year-old Joe Flacco. This is them constantly taking swings at guys who are over the hump, who's not good. You spend a top 5 pick on Anthony Richardson 2 years ago, and the only story that you heard coming into the draft is Anthony Richardson is supremely talented. He has 14 starts, and if you take him, you are taking him and being under the impression that this is going to be a complete developmental quarterback, and he has a lot of tools, but he needs to be completely whipped into shape. Nobody said that this was a guy who you were going to insert into the lineup and become generational and the entire team was going to be amazing. No one framed it as that, but that is how they treated him thus far in his career. Obviously, there has been some hiccups with Anthony Richardson, with him being able to stay healthy, him not being as good as advertised, even maybe as people thought, which is completely fine. That happens. But at this point, the Colts organization just flat hate the dude. And the stories that they're leaking about him being a bad leader and the stuff that he's doing in the locker room and him not taking his conditioning and training, as the fact that you are doing that to a guy that you spent a top 5 pick on 2 years ago just goes to show you that the front office has no clue what they're doing. And if you weren't ready to develop a quarterback who, as somebody like Anthony Richardson, you should have never taken a shot on him in the top 5. I don't think that the Colts, I don't think Anthony Richardson's been great, but I don't think the Colts have done enough to try to develop him into a quarterback that they are trying to make the future of their franchise. So, and now they bring in somebody like Daniel Jones, which I don't know if this is a opportunity for them to have Anthony Richardson just clearly win a quarterback competition between him and Daniel Jones, because it should be winnable for him, or this is a complete slap in the face, which wouldn't shock me at this point, because they've leaked stories to Pat McAfee. They leaked stories to reporters. They leaked stories to ESPN. This organization is such a laughing stock. And I think that Anthony Richardson's future is definitely in question. And I wonder if I feel like at this point, just trade the guy. You clearly hate him. They hate Anthony Richardson.
I admittedly was the biggest Anthony Richards stan when he was coming out. But I knew that this was going to be a process. Before I get there, I will say this too. I think the Colts have done a decent job of building their roster, but no matter how much good you can do building a roster, if you have that many bad quarterbacks in a row, there's no reason that you should be a GM. So yeah, to answer your original question, I don't know how he is still the GM, because that is an awful string of quarterbacks that he's been associated with.
All time bad.
But yeah, I was a very big Anthony Richards stan when he was coming out of college. I knew that this was going to be a process, and the Colts had to have known the same thing. You said what? He played 14 games
in college.
That's nowhere near enough. And then for him to go out there and get hurt his rookie season, I think he played 3 or 4 games his rookie year, something like that.
5. I don't remember.
Not many. Basically, 2024 was his rookie season, and it seems like they've already decided that they want to turn the page on him. If they were serious about this Anthony Richardson development, they would be doing everything that they possibly can to boost this guy's confidence, to make sure that he has everything he needs from a roster standpoint, which I think they have a good roster on paper. I think he has good weapons to give to throw the football to,
I
but
agree.
they have to be able to display confidence and patience. I know that it has been ugly, but there's been some plays that Anthony Richardson makes that are like, okay, nobody else in the NFL is doing that.
Literally.
And if you can just like, you have to stay patient when you draft a guy that's played 14 games. And clearly the Colts are not going to be patient in this situation. I look at the Daniel Jones signing as like, yes, I am for competition, and I think Anthony Richardson should win that job. But like, that seems like their way of being like, okay, well, if we don't do our job developing this guy, we can just fall back on Daniel Jones, who is a worse version of, like, from a talent standpoint, I think Daniel Jones he can throw the football like a little bit better, but like, he's not really that much better than Anthony Richardson.
I personally think that Daniel Jones at this point has gone through like very major injuries. Like he's tore his knee, he's hurt his neck. Like, I don't think that I used to like Daniel Jones. I used to kind of defend him. I used to think he's not awful. I don't think we'll ever get that version of Daniel Jones again. He's had very major injuries. I think what it really comes down to is Anthony Richardson right now just isn't good at doing like the easy stuff.
Correct. And he makes everything hard on himself.
He makes everything hard on himself, but he does make some exceptional plays. And something that Kevin O'Connell said last year when he was doing miracle work with Sam Darnold, who everybody in the league was giving up on, he said there are more organizations and teams that fail quarterbacks than quarterbacks fail organizations.
100%.
And I think that this is a great visual of what is going on in Indianapolis. Is this organization never gave Anthony Richardson a chance. And I get it. I understand that he's not maybe the most mature guy that you thought that you were going to get or whatever, but that all comes with the territory. Everybody knew this about Anthony. Everybody knew all of this about Anthony Richardson when he was coming out in the draft 2 years ago, going to be 3 years at this point. And I don't know why they got him. And then it was like a shock to everybody. So shame on the Indianapolis Colts organization for honestly dismantling Anthony Richardson up to this point.
I think they're just starting to feel the pressure because you look around, even inside your own division, and I know that CJ Stroud wasn't amazing last year, but like, you see the Texans, they hit on their rookie quarterback, and CJ Stroud had a great rookie season, and then you see Daniel Jones on the Commanders, and he obviously had an incredible rookie season.
Daniel Jones on the Commanders?
Jaden Daniels, sorry. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels on the Commanders, and he had an incredible rookie season, and like even Drake May like has shown really good flashes, and like you're seeing rookie quarterbacks around the league show flashes that hey, they can be the guy. And you're not really seeing that from Anthony Richardson at this point, but like he just doesn't have the same amount of games under his belt as some of those other guys in the first place. And I think Anthony Richardson could end up being like kind of a lesser situation with Justin Fields because of all the talent that he has. I could see him just kind of bouncing around and just kind of being that guy that's like, oh, like we can fix him. And then it just like never happens. I think that's the path that he's almost headed on right now.
I'm completely with you. Do you have anything else? Sorry, I didn't text you about that either, but that just fired me up.
White clouds blowing out when we max 4-5, not the size, but it kick up, highlight.